All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started. So I really appreciate everyone attending our August Lunch and Learn today. For those of you who have kind of followed our completion and transition series, this is the third session in that series. So for those of you who have not been able to attend the last couple of months, just a little refresher. In June, we talked about how to document completions and transitions in the Illinois Works reporting system. Last month, we were joined by a representative from IBEW who talked about their registered apprenticeship program. And today, we are closing out our series by being joined by representatives from the Associated Builders and Contractors, Illinois. So we're very excited to have them here today and to kind of cap our series off by talking about transitions. So before I jump in, I do want to just take care of a couple of housekeeping items and walk through the format for today. So in just a moment, I'm going to hand it off to our speakers, Alicia Martin and Jim Gaines, who are going to talk about ABC Illinois, their program, and then they will be available for questions towards the end of our session. During that Q&A session, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. You can also place your question in the chat and I will be happy to read it for you. So if you have questions throughout the session, feel free to put them in there and we will make sure to get those asked and answered at the end of the session. I will also be providing a survey link before we log off today that just is a review of today's session, get a little bit of your feedback. But also, as always, I'm looking for lunch and learn ideas. So if any of you are dealing with an issue right now that you want us to talk about in September, please feel free to put that on the survey. I really appreciate it. And it ensures that these sessions continue to be really designed around what is useful for all of you. So again, I appreciate you all attending and let's jump into introductions. So we are joined today, as I said, by Alicia Martin, who is the president and CEO of ABC Illinois. She joined ABC in 2007 as the vice president of membership and business development. And prior to that, she worked for the state of Illinois as a juvenile probation officer and youth advocate in Morgan County. In her current role, she ensures the views of ABC members are brought to the forefront when any legislation involving construction or business is under discussion. And she also directs the apprenticeship training program, focusing heavily on recruiting new enrollees, specifically from underrepresented populations, which is right in line with the goal of our program here at the Office of Illinois Works. And we're also joined by Jim Gaines, who is the education coordinator for ABC Illinois. He joined ABC in 2008 as the construction craft instructor, and he came to this position through a decade of managing construction projects and personnel, working in construction crafts, and teaching advanced electrical engineering controls. Jim is also a proud veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps and is an NCCR certified administrator and master trainer. His focus at ABC is to oversee the education and training components of the apprenticeship training program. And he not only ensures compliance with NCCER standards, but he seeks out innovative teaching methods and technologies to continuously improve the program. So thank you both for joining us today. We're excited to have you and to hear what you have to share with us.
Well, thank you, Christine, and thanks for having us today. We have a PowerPoint presentation to share. It's not going to be death by PowerPoint, I promise. We'll go through it relatively quickly and open it up for questions. But again, my name is Alicia Martin, president of ABC Illinois, and we have Jim Gain with us on the call, our education coordinator. We work closely together. Can you all see the slide? Is everybody able to see the presentation? I'm going to take that as a yes, Christine, and if not, then you let me know. Okay. So ABC Illinois is now where is it? Okay. Well, I don't know what's happening here, Chaz. ABC Illinois is a statewide construction trade association. We are made up of about 350 construction and construction related firm members. Our membership, we're a little unique because our membership is primarily, they are merit shop contractors, those who choose not to be signatory. So our membership are non-union contractors. We have kind of 4 arms of the association. Our membership side for recruitment and retention of members, where we offer member benefits such as discounts on certain providers like Shell discount cards, or we have partnerships with big organizations, Lowe's, Home Depot, things of that nature, but we also offer business development tools for our membership as well as networking opportunities. Then we have our workforce development side of the association, where we too have a grant from WEO. We started in 2017, something called the Community Builders Program, where we recognized that we needed to increase, not only did we need a talent pipeline in our industry, we needed more diversity, and we also had a social responsibility to go into underserved communities and help individuals, because we are an association made up of employers. So we did that, and we took our training to the communities. And we also offer a registered DOL apprenticeship training program, which fit well with the grant because we had an opportunity to transition those folks into the program. And Jim, do you care to jump in and add to that? Chastity, it's not. I can't hear you, Jim.
I think I'm on mute.
Oh, there you go. Something's wrong with the PowerPoint here. We're going to work on this a minute. Jim, do you have something to add to that? I kind of got off track here without the PowerPoint.
Yeah, we do the cohort trainings in various locations across the state, and it's a great opportunity for us to reach into those areas in the community where they're underserved. It's been very successful over the years. Look forward to doing more of it.
Yeah, to date, we've trained over 200 individuals, with 98% of those participants being from diverse backgrounds. Our primary training facility is in Elk Grove Village, but we have satellite locations across the state of Illinois for plumbing and electrical in Bloomington, Quincy, Effingham, Springfield, Rockford, and our newest location is going to be in Champaign. So I think one of the things that is also unique to our training program is that we do have enrollment multiple times a year. And anyone can enroll in our program. Our credentials are through the National Center for Construction Education and Research. And so they are part of a national registry, so they are portable. Anyone that comes through our training program and gets their credentials can take those anywhere in the country where NCCER is offered. It's also offered, I believe, in other countries as well. So we are here to serve for you, because I think each of you have received this pre-apprenticeship grant. You are able to, those participants can transition into our apprenticeship training program at ABC. We're an alternative. So yes, I had mentioned that we offer the DOL registered apprenticeship training program. How do I get to the next slide, Chastity?
Again.
Where is it? It's not going. Chastity, it's not going. So I'm trying to get the slide to work. Our first contact. So what is the first step to get somebody into the training program? Just contact us. I serve as a resource. Jim serves as a resource. Our contact information will be at the end of the presentation. We also have a dean of students who does recruitment for students, and his contact information is also at the end of this presentation. Suzette Crenshaw heads up our Community Builders program, and she heads up our workforce development arm of the association, and she also would serve as a resource to each of you. In fact, some of you probably may already know Suzette. She is located in Chicago. After we are contacted, we provide a link for a free virtual orientation. That is mandatory for anybody that wants to come into our apprenticeship training program. They do have to attend an online virtual orientation where they'll learn about the training program. They'll learn how to enroll. They'll learn the cost. We'll talk about expectations and when the next training program is going to kick off. We do offer training in all of the crafts of construction, and the majority of, we have most of the trades are registered with our registered apprenticeship program with the Department of Labor. I mentioned that about Steve, our Dean of Students. After we get the online registration, Steve does reach out to the students who want to come to the orientation prior to the date. just to talk to them and answer any questions that they might have. But a lot of that information is presented during the orientation, but he just wants to make sure that they received it and touch base with them on what exactly specifically they're interested in. So he's sure to hit on it during the orientation. So like I said, orientation is mandatory. And the students will learn more about the school and the available programs and the tuition payment options. And then after the orientation, the enrollment forms are emailed to the participants after they register. After they register for the orientation and they attend, the enrollment forms are emailed to the participants for them to complete their registration to come into the next training. The forms that are required is just the ABC enrollment form, which is just a standard one-page form. A registration and release form that we have them sign, and that is required by the National Center for Construction Education and Research. They need a state-issued ID and any scholarship application. We have 3 scholarship opportunities. They're not always available. We have something called the Cando Scholarship, which is donated funds from one of our members, and that is offered to all students to apply for. It typically does not cover the full tuition, but can provide a discounted tuition. Typical scholarships are around $500 for the Cando Scholarship. And we have 2 others. One does provide tuition for 2 students per year, and that does cover 100% of the tuition. So we do have some scholarships available. We do not take funding for we can't take funding for student loans, but we are able to accept the GI Bill. So this is a sample of the NCCER card that they receive. And Jim, you want to talk a little bit about the NCCER cards?
Yes, so that's actually an international registry. So that's accessible to anybody that earns those credentials to have access to them instantaneously. Just look it up online and their full transcript is listed there, which is a great benefit, especially when they're looking at employment opportunities or they're trying to prove out some skill set that they've already achieved for better wages or better positions. So it's a very valuable resource for our students.
And so any of your participants, I don't know how many of you are using the NCCER curriculum, but when they come into our program, those credentials will transfer directly into our program and they can start in level 1 of whatever craft it is that they choose to go into. And because it is a national registry, Jim could log into the NCCER and check what modules they've completed successfully and what levels of whatever training they've completed. So what else? Students who come into our training program and are not employed, we call those open enrollment students. The majority of those students, we say it's an average of 80%, are hired within the first few months of their training. Oftentimes it's within the first few weeks that they come into our training program. So because there is such a need in the industry and high demand, we have contractors contacting us all the time needing to hire apprentices from our training program. So if you were to transition someone from a pre-apprenticeship program into our training program and they've already got some skill sets that they've learned, there's a good chance that they would be employed relatively quickly with our members. Students that are new that come in that have not had core, which is kind of a prerequisite to all the crafts from the NCCER, before we offer them an opportunity to connect with our members, we make sure that they have the employability soft skills training. And then once they have that, we have created a software program where students can upload their resumes after they've completed their employability skills training into this portal, and our contractors then upload positions that they have available, and the students upload their resumes. So it's a great way for us to have a connectivity between our trainees and our employers who are hiring. We do accept funding for WIOA students. We are on the statewide eligibility list for being a training provider. So if a student should transition from a pre-apprenticeship program into our training program, and they qualify for WIO funding, we are able to accept them into our program, and the WIO has funded several students into our training program. I mentioned before that we are approved to accept the GI Bill. And then students enrolled in the ABC craft training can be registered with the Department of Labor if they're employed by an ABC member contractor. Anybody can enroll in our training, and this is where I think that I'm happy to have this opportunity to explain this, because we can accept students into our training program anytime. But in order for them to be registered with the Department of Labor, which I know is one of the big outcomes now that the state is wanting to see for these grant programs, they have to enroll into the training program. And because ABC is the sponsor, only an ABC member company then can we then register them with the Department of Labor if they get hired by an ABC member company. So the student must come in, enroll into the program, and then when an ABC contractor hires them, if they get hired, which we do not guarantee that, even though the majority of our students do get picked up and hired from an ABC member and have great career opportunities, then it's up to the contractor if they want to register that employee with the Department of Labor for them to continue their training. Oftentimes, contractors will hire from the program and they don't register with the Department of Labor for whatever reason. But they can. So there's no guarantee that just because a student comes into our craft training program that the contractor that hires them is going to register them with the Department of Labor. We strongly encourage that, and we are increasing the number of our members that are utilizing the registered apprenticeship program. But we have classes where sitting side by side are registered students with the Department of Labor and our students that are there for craft training. Either way, they're all getting the same credentials from the National Center for Construction Education and Research. So they're all getting the credentials, and sometimes that's what's most important to the contractor. The main difference is if they're registered with the Department of Labor, there are the on-the-job training hours that are required in order to get that DOL certificate at the end of the 4-year program, 2, 3, 4-year program, whichever it should be. Jim, am I missing anything on that?
Nope, that sounds like it pretty much covers it.
Yeah. So another thing is the high school diploma or GED is required if the contractor is going to register the apprentice with the Department of Labor. The NCCR does not require a high school diploma or GED, and we have accepted students into our program. They're not registered with the Department of Labor that have not had that. However, if the goal is to get registered with the Department of Labor, get the participant enrolled with the Department of Labor through a contractor, they would have to have their high school diploma or GED. And like I had mentioned, not all contractors register their craft trainees with the Department of Labor. So that's a pretty high overview of everything. I'd like to kind of open it up for questions. I think probably everyone has the question of, well, what's the cost of tuition? And that is one thing that we can show here. This is the cost of tuition per level. But yeah, I'd like to, Christine, if there are any questions, I'm sure I went through that relatively quickly. So, but if anybody has any questions, or Jim, if you have anything else that you want to add. I don't know, Christina.
We have 2 main semesters that we bring in new apprentices into the training program. Those typically start in August and in January. And then we do have some summer training that we do. So it continues. Those are smaller class sizes. And those are in June and July primarily. That's about it.
Christine, are there any questions?
We do. We have a question in the chat. So where are the locations in or near Chicago?
So our closest location to Chicago would be our Elk Grove Village, where our main training site is located. We have some pre-apprenticeship programs in the city, but that's what everybody on the call has. So, but that's where our primary training site is, and that's where the closest one would be.
Great. If you have any other questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat and I'll read the question. But while you guys are kind of thinking of some questions, I know one question that we did have, and you spoke a little bit about your recruitment and how you bring individuals into the apprenticeship program. Can you speak a little bit to where you guys go to recruit those apprentices?
Sure. I mean, we have Jim and our Dean of Students work closely with high schools that are surrounding our Elk Grove Village area. And then also other folks that we know of that have pre-apprenticeship programs. Obviously, we reach out to them and let them know, that they can register, they can send their pre-apprentices into our program. We also have a search engine optimization program that we utilize through a company that does internet outreach for us. Jim, you can probably speak to that a little bit more than I can. I don't, it, we target certain geographic areas in the Chicagoland area so that individuals through the internet, when they do searches, find us. Right now, we have probably 230 students in our Elk Grove facility, but across the state, we have probably around 300 apprentices that are currently in training.
Great. We do have another question, which is partially for me and partially for you. So I'm going to go with the part for you first, and then I'll cover my end. But can a member contractor sponsor a student?
Yeah, well, it works like we are the sponsor. ABC is the sponsor. So in order for a contractor to register an apprentice with the Department of Labor, they have to be a member of ABC. So ABC is the actual sponsor, but a contractor completes the paperwork, they pay the wages, they submit they sign off on the OJTs for the participant that's in our training program. ABC is the actual sponsor. The contractor is a member of the association.
And will the contractor pay the tuition for the student?
Oftentimes, yes. It's not every contractor does, but the majority of our contractors that enroll students, either they have some sort of reimbursement plan based on grades, they pay a percentage and the participant pays a percentage, or they pay 100% of the tuition. It's not guaranteed, but yes, oftentimes the contractors that are hiring these individuals are paying their tuition.
Great, great. And then the half of that question that was for us was, can we use any grant funds to cover tuition? So in this grant cycle, no, you cannot. However, we did receive approval from DCEO leadership for our second round of funding. So beginning January 1st, 2023, that programs can utilize grant funding to pay half of the participants' tuition. And so that will be a huge benefit to really open up these opportunities and reduce any potential barrier if someone's concerned about the tuition aspect. So that will be open for those who receive renewals, those who receive new grant awards. And we are exploring the opportunity of looking at kind of grandfathering in some of our grant year one individuals. So obviously these programs, as you all know, like other apprenticeship programs, last more than a year. And so that tuition payment continues to exist. So that is something we are looking at to be able to kind of go back and pay that next year, half of that next year of tuition for those who have graduated this year who end up going into a program like ABC's. So that is a new addition to the program for the next grant year.
And we're really excited about that because we think that will incentivize our contractors to hire these candidates, and also because it will mitigate some of the risk for them on their hand with a new employee. And in turn, that gives the employee a chance to prove themselves to the contractor, and the contractor want to pick up the rest of the remaining of the tuition the next semester.
Absolutely.
Do you know, Christine, will that when that funding becomes available, does the student need to be registered with the Department of Labor first, or will it cover the enrollment with the understanding that then they will have access to a pool of contractors that could register them with the Department of Labor?
That's a great question. I do not have an answer to that, but I can seek that out and see if that would kind of qualify in that space.
Because I would see where that could be a barrier if that's not the case, just because like the contractor, the student has to enroll and the contractor hires from the students after they enroll. So it's not like the contractor hires and then it's kind of the cart before the horse. I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, that's a great question and something I can definitely get clarification around as we build that out. Okay. Are
So
there any?
our next orientation, if I don't know how many of you may have participants that are graduating, I believe we just had one yesterday. Jim, do you know when the next orientation will be?
They're scheduled for every other Tuesday.
September 28th, I believe, is our next orientation. 20th, September 20th. Chastity's sitting here telling me September 20th. And you can go to our website, learnyourtrade.com, or you can go to our website, abcil.org, and go to our calendar and you'll see the registrations. We try and offer them every other week. Like I said, we're getting ready to, I don't know if any of you on the call are from the Champaign area, but we are getting ready to kick off a training program there the October 3rd. So if you have anyone interested, feel free to have them log into any of the orientations or just reach out to anyone listed here on your screens. We'd be happy to help them with the enrollment process.
Also, I believe there may be an opportunity to meet and greet with ABC members coming up sometime. It'll be on our calendar on our website.
That's great. Are there any other questions? Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any.
Christine, you will let us know via email about the question that Alicia just asked regarding students being enrolled and the contractor adding them to the Department of Labor list. If we're able to pay a portion of their tuition.
Yes. So yes, happy to add that in. So that will be part of kind of the official policy around payments to non-union registered apprenticeship programs for our 2023 year. But I'm certainly happy to answer that prior to kind of that official policy coming out if I can get a solid answer on that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm curious how many of the folks on the call are, how are you doing with getting your people employed upon completion of the pre-apprenticeship? And if you're using, and are you using the NCCER curriculum?
So this is Elisa from Quad County Urban League. We are using the NCCER curriculum. We have MOUs that, those were, I believe, required for us to have as far as getting them employed. So we just completed our first pre-apprenticeship program through the Illinois Works. So we're in the works of getting these folks employed.
Okay. Well, Alyssa, if you need help, feel free to reach out. I have some contractors in the Quad City area that need employees.
Will do. Thank you.
Is there any other questions or yeah, is anybody else using the NCCER?
Yes, this is Dominique Jones with the Tools Up Foundation. We are using the NCCER curriculum. We really enjoy it so far. It's been very helpful and useful for our students. We are having a difficult time with completely transitioning our students to actually get employed with union contractors and with the union apprenticeship programs. We only have one out of our 17 students who has a confirmed job with Clayco Construction, and that was through rigorous networking with that company directly. As far as our other students, it's been a difficult journey. So I see working at ABC as a little more of an advantage for us, considering that we are currently using the NCCER curriculum.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, we've heard that before, and what we stand ready to help. So we feel pretty fortunate that we are an organization made up of employers. So it seems a logical fit for these pre-apprenticeship programs. And from our Community Builders program that we started back in 2017, which is similar to the programs that you all are running, we have a 70% successful placement rate for our participants. So we got a pretty good proven track record, and the industry needs them. I mean, the industry needs these individuals, and they're great career opportunities, as you know, if you can get in. So we need them, our members need them, the industry definitely needs them, and we know that the demographics of our state are not reflective of the demographics in the construction industry, so that needs to change as well. So however we can help, you can reach out to us privately and let us know. We cannot become an employment agency, though. Let me just preface by saying that we're not able to take everybody's resumes and place them in with our contractors, but we will help where we can.
Thank you for that. That's appreciated. Thanks.
I was gonna say you're gonna have about 1,000 people.
No, don't do that. we can't do that.
Yes, hi, my name is Asia Owsley. I'm representing Lumity. We have a cohort that just started a couple of weeks ago out in Maywood in the western suburbs. So very excited to potentially be a thought partner with you, Alicia, and work with you all because we're in close proximity to your Elk Grove Village location. I hope to definitely get some of our guys. We have a great cohort, and hope to get some of them connected with your organization. So looking forward to working with you.
Great. Happy to help how we can. We work closely, and some of you probably know Pastor Brooks at Project Hood. We worked closely with him on some of our programs. We also work with the Chicago Urban League. We've worked with the YWCA on the west in Woodlawn community. We've done some work with Manny at Revolution Workshop. It's been a while since we've done that. He's got a great program going there himself right now. So we're familiar with working with partners and stand ready to help when we can.
Any other questions or comments you want to talk about your experience with NCCR, or if, to Alicia's question, how are you guys doing with those transitions, those placements, gaining employment with your participants?
This is Dominique with Tools Up Foundation again. So we were able to get a lot of our students for the different, however, a lot of them are closed, like they don't have open enrollment right now. So I do want to clarify with ABC, is it that it's a all year round open enrollment? Like, does the enrollment ever close, or is it like seasonal? I do want to clarify that.
It's open enrollment all year round. Classes begin in August and they begin in January. So they can enroll between September and December. There's enrollment. We're taking enrollments for the January classes. And then from February to July, we're taking enrollment for our August class. Is that right, Jim? And then in the summertime, we'll offer like an advanced core, so they can get a jump start and get core out of the way in the summer. And that's where they would come. It's pretty intense. Jim, you can speak a little bit to advanced core. And that way they're ready to hop right in level 1 the next semester in August.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. The core curriculum, it covers all the basic power and hand tools, math, blueprint reading, material handling, and construction math is really, really important. So we put a lot of focus on safety training, so they'll get a construction site safety certification, which is a 12-hour training. They'll also get an OSHA training, which is another 10 hours on top of that. And then they'll go through approximately 80 some power and hand tools, and we do that in about a month. So it's a pretty intense training.
And we're using NCCR Connect. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but when we do the Express Core, Advanced Core, there's some independent study that goes along with that. Their expectation is that they do some of the work on their own so they can get through core more quickly and enroll straight into level 1 in August.
Yeah, it's proven to be a benefit the participants that go through that advanced training during the summer. Really gets them set up for a lot easier training when they get into their specific trade craft. They've got more attention to put on it. So it's a valuable resource available to them.
My last question is how long is each semester? What's the time frame?
So the structure of it is set up just like as you would think of the typical apprenticeship program model where it's, learn and earn. So they come one night a week for 4 hours, from 5 to 9. And then, so a semester would be January to May, break June, July, come back August to December, and they complete level 1 year, level 2 the next year, level 3 the next year, and then level 4, so on, depending on the trade and how many levels there are in the craft.
Great questions. Anyone else have any questions for Alicia or Jim? Okay. Well, if you get off the call and have a question pop into mind, I know that always happens to me. Their contact information is here on the screen. So, as they said during the presentation, they're open to questions if you want to connect directly with them and start to hear more about kind of their opportunities. Please reach out to them. Elisa, did you have something you wanted to share?
I did think of one more thing, and just
Yeah.
so you know, and I don't think I touched on this, I got all discombobulated with the PowerPoint because it wasn't working right. But I forgot to mention that we do offer payment plans that they're on an individual basis, but we work with the individuals when they come in. They can, I believe it's a $700 down payment for a payment plan, but then we can work with them on the remaining tuition to establish a payment plan.
Great. That is great to know. All right. Well, thank you both again so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time and walking us through ABC's program. And like I said, I am going to share a survey link. So I just shared a survey link in the chat with all of you. So it's very quick. It's only a couple of questions. So if you could please take a moment to complete that, it would be greatly appreciated. This session was recorded today, so I will post that to our Illinois Works Partner Guide, very likely probably tomorrow. So if you wanted to reference it, feel free to check out the Partner Guide, and we will then go from there.
Did Mrs.
Yeah.
Anderson have a question?
Latanya, did you have a question? Your hand is up. Maybe not.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you all for joining today. Any questions, feel free to shoot them to me. I can get them to Alicia or Jim, or you can directly reach out to them at their contact information. And I will release you guys a little bit early. So the gift of time. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Christine.